Hi viewers, welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's session, I am going to discuss cell references in an Excel sheet. For that, first of all, open your Excel sheet by using a shortcut key with the keyboard support. Press Window R, which in turn displays a dialog box called Run. Inside this dialog box, type Excel. When once we click on OK, now it is going to redirect to your Excel sheet where the sheet is recognized by some n number of cells. Okay. Now these cells are classified into two categories. One is called passive cell, the other one is called active cell. If I select a cell, then the selected cell is called as an active cell. Now, this active cell is recognized by an address of column with C, row with 3. Therefore, the cell address of this active cell is C3, where you can identify your cell address under your name box. You can observe on the screen. Suppose if I select this particular cell, now this time the column is E and the row is 4. Therefore, the cell address of this active cell is E4. Now, the question is how many number of cells that are there in a sheet? Default Excel will have only 3 sheets. But in each sheet, how many cells are there? This is an active cell with an address of A1. This is another active cell with an address of A2. This is another active cell with an address of A3. Now if you observe that all these cell addresses are assigned by column with alphabetical headers, row with number headers. Therefore, the most important point what you need to remember is if this is your active cell, first it recognizes the alphabetical header, which is nothing but B column, followed by the number header, which is recognized by 5. Therefore, the cell address of this is B5, which you can observe under your name box. Now we shall learn how to recognize the total cells in a sheet. Now, by using Control key followed by cursor keys on your keyboard, you can recognize your total cell addresses. Now let us say the active cell address of this is A1, whereas this is A2, A3. Now instead of searching for each and every record, there is a shortcut key where you can find the first as well as the last record of your respective column. Now, by pressing Ctrl followed by cursor key down, it displays the last record address, which is nothing but 1048576. Therefore, what is the cell address of this active A followed by 1048576, which you can observe under your name box. Similarly, again if I press my control key followed by cursor key right. Now this time it shows right side edge bottom active cell address, which is nothing but XFD followed by 1048576. As I said, this role is called alphabetical header role and this role is called number header role. Similarly, if I press Ctrl followed by cursor key up, it displays the first record of the last cell. Right displays the first cell. In this way, by rotating your cursor keys up, down, right, left, we can identify the entire sheet. So this is how we can recognize your sheet cell addresses. Now we shall discuss about the cell references classification. In cell references classification, there are three categories. One is called relative cell reference category, absolute cell reference category, mixed cell reference category. Now, I have represented an example to identify what kind of reference we are using under our example. Let us take an example. If I am going to use a cell, let us say D followed by 22. Now this is my active cell. This active cell, if I am going to operate with equal to D22 under your formula bar, then this representation is called as relative cell representation. On the other case, if I want to change this, then place your cursor in between and press F4 from your keyboard. Automatically, it recognizes $D$22, which is nothing but your absolute cell reference. On the other case, mixed cell references are being classified by one with $D means the other one without $22. Therefore, if I press F4 again, we'll see D followed by $22. Or again if I press F4, we'll see $D followed by 22. Therefore, this kind of usage is called mixed cell usage. Therefore, the reference of this is termed as mixed cell reference. If I use like this, then it is called absolute cell reference. If I use like this, then it is called relative cell reference. Now we shall see an example of relative cell reference. Let us start relative cell reference. Now, in relative cell reference, let me have some student database with the attributes student number as SNO. Let us number this as 1, 2. When once you select these two, observe your doctor plus symbol. Change your doctor plus symbol towards small thing plus symbol like this, and then drag the entire database. Automatically, the data will be filled. Similarly, let us give a random name ABC1. Let us name this record as ABC2. Therefore, this student has been named as ABC1. This student has been named as ABC2. Again, repeat the same procedure. Select these two first. Observe your doctor plus symbol. Change this doctor plus symbol into a small thin plus symbol and then drag the remaining cells. So this is how we need to create a database in an easier way. Now enter the subject mark. Let us say this candidate has achieved a mark of 55, 65, 45, 85, 63, 25, 15, 78. Similarly, in this concerned subject, he may achieve around 62, 35, 85, 45, 65, 38. Randomly, you can give any number 45, 67, followed by 30. Okay. When once this student has achieved a mark of 55 under subject 1 and 62 under subject 2, now with the help of relative cell reference, I can find my total. How to get this total means, under your formula bar, as I said, it should start with equal to, followed by cell address of 55. What is the cell address of 55? G followed by 4, where G is your alphabetical header and 4 is your number header, which we can see under your total plus 62. What will be the address? H4. Yes. When once we get this, then this kind of operation which we done to this concerned student database can be analyzed with an example, and that example may relate to your relative cell reference. When once we fix this, now we achieved a total 55 plus 62 is nothing but 117. Again, observe your doctor plus symbol. Change this doctor plus symbol into small thin plus symbol. Double click on it. Automatically, we can fill the entire data within a second. Now we'll check whether the data has been filled properly or not. For that, what I'm going to do is, let us consider a record number 6. Now, let us assume that I'm going to change the mark as 40 and 60. Now, if I total them, the answer should be 100. See that? Therefore, we can say that this has been generated with the help of this relative cell reference. Now we shall see the next cell reference, absolute cell reference. For this absolute cell reference, let us take a small example with three attributes. First attribute is name, the second attribute is hours worked, and the third attribute is total payment. Now, why I choose these three attributes means, nowadays most of are working at home and they are being paid according to their respective work. In such criterias, this absolute cell reference may work. Now let us work on it. Now, in this database, we observe that ABC1 has worked for 9 hours. ABC2, the name of a respective candidate, has worked for 5 hours. ABC3, let us say he has worked for 7 hours. So on up to ABC 10, 2 hours. Now I need to give the payment to these all guys according to their work done per hour. In such criteria, what I am going to do, I am going to fix my work done per hour as 200. Then how can I calculate the total amount received by each and every respective candidate? Then under total payment equal to, make a formula in such a way that equal to hours worked, which is nothing but G followed by 4 multiplied by 200. Now 200 is an active cell whose address is D followed by 5. Now the most important point is you need to make this as $D$5. This $D$5 is called as fixed. Under absolute cell reference, we need to choose the dollar symbol to the entire cell address. Okay. We have already discussed that the cell address of this 200 is nothing but D5. So $D $5 will fix. Therefore, if I enter the key, 9 multiplied by 200 is nothing but 1800. Therefore, this guy ABC1 will receive an amount of 1800. For the remaining things, there is no need to recount it. Okay, simply change your doctor plus symbol into small thing plus symbol. Double click on it. Now we'll see the remuneration or the total amount that has been paid to each and every respective candidate in my database. Check this example. ABC6 is the name of the candidate, worked for 10 hours. I have given 200 rupees per hour. Therefore, 10 into 200 is nothing but 2000. So in this criteria, we can use this reference, which is called as absolute cell reference. Now we shall see the mixed cell reference with an example. Using this mixed cell reference, I'm going to create a table of 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. For that what I did is, I placed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns. Similarly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. After placing them, now I am going to mark this. Let us mark this. Similarly, I am going to mark this. Therefore, this acts as column list, this acts as row list. Now what we need to do is, here we need to use the mixed cell reference to get your answer of table 1. Similarly here table 2, table 3, table 4, table 5. To get those tables, what we are supposed to do is write a formula as equal to what is active cell address of this D6. You can observe that. Now this D6 I am going to use as dollar followed by D $6. Then this reference is called absolute cell reference. If I use like this, again press F4 on your keyboard, we'll get a D followed by $6. Again if you press $T followed by 6. Again if you press D6. Therefore, while using this F4 function, we can identify what kind of cell reference we are using. If it is D6, it is a relative cell reference. If it is $D $6, it is an absolute cell reference. And the last two, observe carefully. Once again press F4. Now this time D doesn't have dollar, but 6 has dollar. So 6 is your row. Row is going to be fixed in this situation. Again press F4. Now observe this. $D. $D is nothing but your column. Therefore, column is fixed under this situation. Therefore, this kind of approach is called mixed cell reference. Now multiply this with this one. Now what is the active address of this particular one? E5. Now what I'm going to do is press F4. Now this acts as absolute cell reference, but I need a mixed cell reference. So this time what I'm going to use is E followed by $5. Now if you observe this formula carefully, $D 6. $D means D is fixed, 6 is variable. So 6 becomes 7, 8, so on. Whereas in this case, 5 is fixed, E becomes variable. E, F, G, H, so on. Therefore, the simplest trick is if you place a dollar, it indicates that that is fixed. If you are not going to place a dollar, it indicates that it is a variable where it can vary the values. Now, if you enter the key, now we can see the table of 1. 1 ones are 1, 1 twos are 2, 1 threes are 3, 1 fours are 4, 1 fives are 5. Repeat the same thing for 2. Now see this. 2 ones are 2, 2 twos are 4, 2 threes are 6, 2 fours are 8, 2 fives are 10. Similarly, drag this button towards the end of the respective tables and then drop all the respective things. Now you can see a table format has been generated using your mixed cell reference. Now if you observe that, in this case, I have represented table 1, table 2, table 3. You can take an example. Suppose I want to know the table 4. 4 ones are 4, 4 twos are 8, 4 threes are 12, 4 fours are 16, 4 fives are 20. Okay, so in this way we are going to perform your mixed cell reference.